Have you ever wondered what it really takes to build a payment system from the ground up? One that can handle everything from mobile money to credit cards, all while keeping every transaction secure and all the regulators happy? Well, today, we're going inside the machine to see how it's done. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with a big problem, fragmented payments. Then we'll dive into the heart of the solution, a unified switch. After that, we'll look at the AI-powered shield that protects it and the automated guardian that keeps it compliant. And finally, we'll see the global standards that the whole thing is built on. Let's get into it. So first things first, let's set the stage. Why build an entirely new system? Well, it all boils down to one massive headache that plagues a lot of modern economies.
It's a great question, isn't it? I mean, for any business out there, this is a daily struggle. You've got customers who want to pay in a dozen different ways, and trying to make that simple is, believe it or not, incredibly hard. And this right here is the heart of the problem. In a place like Kenya, for example, a merchant has to juggle separate systems for mobile money, for banks, for card payments. It's what's called structural fragmentation, and it creates this tangled web that leads to a ton of manual work, cash flow nightmares, and frankly, leaves the door wide open for fraud.
So how do you untangle that web? That brings us to the heart of the solution. This is how you build a smarter system. You do it with this. A unified transaction switch. The best way to think of it is like an intelligent air traffic controller, but for money. Instead of planes, it's managing all these different payment rails, mobile money, cards, bank transfers, and directing them all through one central hub. And you can see it right here in the architecture. The switch sits smack in the middle of everything. On one side, you've got the merchants. On the other, all the payment partners. The switch is that critical translator that gets them all speaking the same language.
So for every single payment, the switch does 5 key things almost instantly. It gets the request, it authenticates it, it figures out the smartest way to route it, whether that's to a mobile network or a card processor, it logs it in real time, and it kicks off the process to get the merchant paid. It's an incredibly efficient, automated dance.
And this diagram just shows you the magic trick. A customer pays, and behind the scenes, the switch is routing mobile, card, or even crypto payments all over the place. But what does the merchant see? None of that chaos. They just get one simple, unified confirmation. It's all about abstracting away the complexity. Of course, an engine this powerful needs some serious armor. Because when you're handling people's money, it's not just about being fast and efficient. It's fundamentally about security and trust. I absolutely love this philosophy. The architecture is designed for what they call regulatory defensibility. In plain English, that means security isn't an afterthought. It's not something you just bolt on at the end. It's woven into the very DNA of the system from day one. So how does this fortress actually work? Well, we're talking about AI that's scoring every transaction for fraud risk in real time. All the data is locked down with AES 256 encryption. That's the gold standard. All communications are secured with the latest TLS protocol. They use a zero-trust model, which means nothing is trusted by default. And sensitive card data? It gets swapped out with secured tokens. It's a truly multi-layered defense. And here's the payoff for that robust design. 99.95% uptime. For a merchant, that number is everything. It means reliability. It means the system is always on when they need to make a sale, and that builds some serious trust. So beyond protecting against threats from the outside, the platform also has to be its own guardian, making sure every single transaction is playing by a very complex set of global financial rules. This workflow is actually fascinating. If you look closely, it doesn't matter where the money comes from. Mobile, card, crypto, it all has to pass through a mandatory checkpoint. Perform AML/KYC screening. There's no way around it. Compliance isn't a choice. It's hardwired right into the flow of money. So what exactly is AML and sanction screening? Well, AML stands for anti-money laundering. You can basically think of this as an automated watchdog. For every transaction, it's checking against global lists of sanctioned people and organizations to make sure the system isn't being used for illegal stuff like money laundering. And we're not talking about a local checklist here. This system is scanning against the heavyweights of global financial regulation. The U.S. Treasury's OFAC list, the European Union's list, the United Nations sanctions, the whole 9 yards. It shows a real commitment to global security.
Okay, so we've got the core engine, the security shield, and the compliance guardian. But what is all of that built on? Let's take a look at the bedrock foundation that makes it all trustworthy.
This table really says it all. And look, each one of these is a massive undertaking on its own. You've got PCI DSS for card data, GDPR for personal privacy, ISO 27001 for information security. On top of that, they're aligned with specific regulators, like the Central Bank of Kenya and Canada's FinTrack. You put all that together, and you have an institutional-grade framework of trust.
And this quote just perfectly sums up the bigger picture here. The goal isn't just to be another payment app, is to become a core piece of the financial infrastructure, a responsible player that actually makes the whole ecosystem stronger and more stable for everyone. So it kind of leaves us with this one big question, right? In a world where money is moving faster and across more borders than ever before, is this kind of deeply integrated, secure, and compliance-first infrastructure just a nice to have? Or is it the only real path forward? Definitely something to think about.